Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining Progress Texas today. I'm here with Sara Stapleton Barrera from the Rio Grande Valley. Sara, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you all for having me, and thanks to everybody that's tuning in.
Absolutely. Thank you. I want to start off on a positive note. What has been bringing you joy over the last few months, kind of social distancing and everything else? What has been bringing you joy? Oh, there we go. We lost you
Bike
for a
riding
minute.
again. Oh, okay, there, we're good.
We're
I
good.
picked
Yeah.
up bike riding again, which is fun. I haven't ridden a bike in a million years, so that's been sparking joy. I take the three kids with me on little family bike rides, so getting out, getting some vitamin D is definitely a plus.
Absolutely. And Sara, you are running for Senate District 27 down in the valley. So that's like Cameron County, a little bit of Hidalgo, Willacy County, and a little bit of Kennedy as well, right?
Right, and Clayburg.
Awesome. Awesome. So what are you seeing right now in the community? What are folks needing?
Yeah, so right now, people, there's so many unknowns. People really aren't quite sure what the future looks like for us, regarding COVID-19 and what the schooling system's going to look like and what healthcare is going to look like. There's so many unknowns, and we're not getting a whole lot of guidance from anybody, So I feel there's a huge need in just some reassurances, some guidances. Hey, we're not going to leave you guys alone. We have your back, and that's what the people are needing right now, and that's what our community down here in South Texas is lacking.
Definitely. How have you been connecting folks with resources?
Yeah, so what I've been doing is obviously we're utilizing a lot of social media and getting the word out via social media. But I'm also doing some visits. We're visiting the colonias, we're visiting the smaller communities that have really been left behind. I mean, people are panicking that their houses are going to be taken away, that their cars are going to be taken away because they can't make the payments. They're worried about their credits. They're worried if I do get infected with COVID-19, is anybody going to help me? I'm uninsured. So we've been doing visits. We're reaching out. We're trying to hear as many people as possible, and just hearing alone is the first step because so many of these voices are left unheard.
Absolutely. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about what is going on, across the country and across the world right now. Folks are out protesting, demanding changes to our police system, demanding accountability. What is happening in the Rio Grande Valley, and how is our progressive community down there responding?
So I have seen an amazing turnout. It South Texas is such an interesting area, but I feel like all of a sudden our younger generation is really pulling together. I mean, just down the road here, there was a protest 2 days ago, and I went, and there was hundreds of people there. I mean, high school students and young Texans, and it was so eye-opening to me that look, we're not complacent. We're not sitting, we're moving, and we're standing up, and this next generation is taking over. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Hmm. I know the Valley is, such a unique place. I myself grew up in Lyford, but I'm curious, when we talk about racism against Black Texans, when we talk about racism against Brown Texans, what does this look like in the Valley? And like, how are folks talking about racism and colorism more openly than maybe they have before?
Right. So, I grew up here as well, and there was always sort of like an underlying conversation that really fed this racist narrative, But with all the different shades of Hispanics that we had down here in South Texas, there was always sort of a conversation, oh, the güero, or oh, the white kid, or oh, the colored eyes. And it sent this message that the lighter you are, the better off you are, or the darker you are, the more likely you are to be a criminal. So that's really this undertone that's kind of shapes some of the views down here. But with all of this happening, people are talking and we're acknowledging it. And we're saying, hey, look, this has been a problem in the Valley because this has been that narrative. With these conversations happening, with the awareness being brought out because of this incident, people's minds are opening, and it's such a refreshing thing to see. There's all this talk about, cops, officers versus Black people. And, down here in South Texas, we are a very policed area. I mean, just, not too long ago, Senator Lucio voted in bringing $800 million here to police the border. So there has been this sense of, well, fear of the police, and fear that it's them versus us. And I'm hopeful that if anything comes out of the George Floyd incident, it's working on some of these issues that have plagued us down here.
What are some of those solutions that you see when it comes to demilitarizing our border?
First of all, funding. I mean, that $800 million that came to militarize our border could have gone towards education, could have gone towards healthcare, could have gone to infrastructure. I mean, could have gone to things that we really tangibly need down here. So it seems wasteful. It seems irresponsible. That's what we need down here. We don't need militarization of the border.
I'm curious, and I don't know the answer to this. Has Senator Lucio said anything during this?
Not to me. I've spoken to community members, and they feel like he's been quite silent on a lot of the issues. That he plays it safe. He's afraid to, I think, step out of the box and offend his compadres Dan Patrick and Governor Abbott. So he's not.
Absolutely. And I want to invite folks, if you have questions for Sara that we can help ask, please comment with them and we'll get to them as we go through. Talking about Governor Abbott, Dan Patrick, and these folks, they've ignored a lot of these common sense health and safety measures during this time, and I'm curious what you think needs to be done at the state level, and how can we ensure that folks have resources down the Valley when, we don't have many ICU beds down there and things like that?
Yeah, when all of this first started happening, I reached out to Senator Lucio and I said, hey, we don't have testings. Hey, we don't have these drive-through testing areas that everybody else in the state has. So let's reach out to the governor together and let's demand that they not forget about South Texas. And he wouldn't do it, so we've had to make a statement directly to Governor Abbott saying, hey, we're here. You can't just take care of the rest of the state. I feel like because we're a border town and because we're in the South Texas area, we seem to be sort of the last one to get these resources. But yeah, certainly. I mean, there's a lot that should have been done that wasn't done. And now we're dealing with the backlash. And, we will likely have a second wave. And, I will continue to push and wave our flags and say, hey, we are here and we are worthy of these things as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you see folks worried about their families and their communities? Are folks practicing social distancing? Like, how are families dealing with this right now?
Yeah, they are. I mean, you see people walking down the street with their masks on and taking precautions. So we are listening, we're being responsible. I think one of the biggest fears is really people's, not necessarily maybe catching COVID-19, but people's livelihoods because of COVID-19. You know, many people down here cannot afford to be kicked out of their homes. They don't have somewhere else they can go, you know. Um, People can't afford to not have health care. People can't afford to, you know, be swamped with 3 car payments at the end of the, you know, at the end of the summer. I mean, it's just not how we function.
100%. And I think folks, if they are unfortunately losing their jobs, they're losing their health care a lot of times as well. Um, what can the state be doing right now to help these families who, in some cases, are losing their health care?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a great question. And just to let you know, the severity of it down here in South Texas, 38% of us are already uninsured.
Mm-hmm.
So we start off at this level um, that needs some help, right? What should have been done and what needs to be done still is expanding Medicaid, Medicaid for all, Medicare for all. I mean, that would solve these issues. I went to one of our colonias not too long ago, and just in the recent 3 months, past months, it wasn't COVID-19 related, but 3 women in that colonia died because of lack of health care. You know, they said every month or so they'll bring in a van that'll do sort of like routine checkups to these individuals that live in this colonia. But that's it. I mean, that's the extent of their health care. So people are literally dying. Young people. One of the ladies' mothers who died was 50 years old, just because they can't access simple, basic health care. It's insanity.
It is. It is. And I know a lot of folks, come up with the money how they can. Like they'll have plate sales or they'll you know, do anything that they can to get this healthcare, and that should not be the norm.
Yeah. Any given day, you can go to this corner down here and they will be, you know, signs out for a chicken plate sell or a loteria fundraiser. That should not be the norm, but it is. And it's a clear indicator that things are not okay and there a major overhaul needs to be done and it needs to happen now.
100%. When you're talking to these folks, to these voters, what are the concerns, aside from healthcare and aside from economic stability, like what else is coming up for folks right now?
Yeah, so certainly education. You know, a lot of our communities down here don't have access to internet. Their communities and their neighborhoods are literally off the grid. So I met with a mother, and she had 2 high school age students and 1 elementary school student, and all the schools are sending home these packets. You know, and she was concerned because they didn't have internet access. She didn't speak English, so she couldn't assist with the homework even if they had internet access. These kids, you know, she was pushing them to get an education so they could go off and better their lives. But their grades were falling, and she didn't even know if graduation was in the future because they couldn't access the homework. I mean, just problems that you think that you just forget about, that are real, that are solid problems that a lot of our community down here faces, and our state senator just has failed us.
Absolutely. I know you yourself are, working through childcare, working through homeschooling right now. What do you think families need to better help their children right now?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 kids. 2 of them are elementary age, and it's certainly a challenge. I mean, for myself, I was able to sit at home with them on the computer and do distance learning, but that's not everybody's circumstance down here in South Texas. People have jobs. People have to leave their children. You know, and childcare is a whole other issue that I could talk about, but I was able to sit at the computer and help guide my children through the distance learning. But that's not everybody's case. So there are many children left behind. So yeah, it's a major problem, and we don't really quite know what next year is going to look like. But what I do know is we cannot cut funding, and that's the fear, is that our legislators are going to go in and cut the funding because we're suffering in other aspects. But the funding has got to stay intact. It's got to be multiplied, because that's where we're needing it right now. And these children are our future, and we've got to remember that. And our legislators, they have not.
I know you have proposed a $60,000 starting salary for teachers. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you came up with that, and what is the response been to that proposal?
Yeah, so I come from a family of educators, and I get it. I mean, I myself was a teacher for a year, and it was the hardest job of my life. Teachers are overworked, underpaid. They have to use money out of their own pocket, for the resources for the children. Starting at 60K, and then a schedule for the more veteran teachers that have been there, is what they deserve. I mean, where we at least deserve to start them. They deserve much more. But they really are our future. I mean, I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for my public school educators down here at Hannah High School. So in order to shape all these futures, we've got to take care of our teachers. 60K sounds and feels like a good starting point.
That's great. Have you heard, I know you've been endorsed by several teacher unions. I'm curious, have you heard from the unions in response to this?
Yeah, I mean, people are loving it. This has not been proposed on the state level. No one has actually given a number. We have given a number, and yeah, I mean, people are excited about it. I think teachers finally feel like their voices will be heard. There's somebody that is calling a spade and saying, hey, you guys are taken advantage of, and it resonates.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned childcare and how, we can talk about childcare a whole lot. What is going on with childcare right now in the Valley? And what do we need to do to support childcare, which is such important work?
Right. So childcare is an especially tough issue in Willacy County, which is part of District 27. There's most of the people in that area are employed by the jails and by the correction facilities. Those places don't close. They work all day long, every day, all night long. So I had mothers calling me saying, hey, I have a shift. The daycare centers and the childcare centers are closed. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. So we started brainstorming, and yeah, there's got to be tangible solutions that actually help people like me and like them. And never in District 27 have we had a female senator. Never have we had a mother. So those perspectives have been overlooked all this time. But I know those issues because I'm in those issues, and I deal with 3 wild children every day. So it's a perspective that needs to be seen and heard.
Absolutely. Lucio has been in office since before I was born. And we have yet to see this leadership from him. I'm curious what made you decide to run against this incumbent, and how has this campaign gone? How has it changed? Where are your thoughts right now?
When I first decided to run, I had just finished a really difficult case here in Brownsville as an attorney, and I wanted to take some time and reflect. I needed to figure out how the system had failed my client and how the system had failed other victims in these types of circumstances. So when I took this time to sort of do some soul searching and reflect, I did some researching, and the researching led me down a rabbit hole. I landed on Senator Lucio, and I looked at his voting record. And I was shocked, and it occurred to me at that moment, this is the break in our chain. This is why we are not progressing and why we're behind, because this has been our senator for 30 years. And as time and the world around us changes, he stays the same. I'm not a politician. When I first said, "Hey, I'm going to run," people said, "You're crazy. He's been there for a million years, has $1 million," and but I persisted, and here we are, and we will win this thing. So anything, you just put your mind to it, and anything can happen.
What do you need from folks right now? What is your ask of folks to help you in this journey?
I need people to make calls. I need people to phone bank. I need people to help me text. If you have a group of 5 friends, call me and let me talk to them. I think once people hear me and listen to my ideas, and vice versa, I hear people and listen to their ideas, people are on board. So let's just, we can't do these little coffees and meet and greets at people's homes, but we can do them virtually. And I would love to just be connected. So call me, connect me. If someone has a question, I'm here to answer it. So it's really just about, this campaign is about people to people to people. So we need people.
I want to thank folks who have tuned in. If you have any questions for Sara, please comment with them and we'll get to them. Sara, what is something that, if you had to pick like one thing that Lucio has failed on, what is one thing that resonates with people the most?
The most recent thing that at least resonates with me, and I think once people hear it, it'll resonate with them, is this. The fact that he takes money from huge corporations. He takes money from Walmart, from Exxon, from the Koch brothers, is a clear example of where his loyalties lie. We're not going to have a leader take care of us and our families and our neighbors and our teachers and our our mailmen if he's getting paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars from big oil and these types of companies. That was a major turnoff for me when I learned that about our senator. It occurred to me at that point, this guy will never go up to bat for me and my children. We need somebody that answers just to the constituents, just to the people. And that's what I intend to do.
Absolutely. And this election is coming right up on July 14th. Are folks excited to vote? Like, I know we've been talking about at Progress Texas, vote by mail and that ongoing fight. Like, where are voters at right now?
People are excited. Look, they finally have a choice in this race. They finally have a choice. And they know that if I'm elected as their next senator, we are literally making history. I'll be the first woman. I'll be the youngest in the state Senate. So it changes the entire narrative of how politics works down here in South Texas. For so long, it's been this old establishment sort of run business, really a business. And so people feel like this is it. This is the moment where we can reshape the entire district. So yeah, people are thrilled. I feel the energy, and honestly, the energy just keeps me moving as fast as I can. It's unheard of, and it's inspiring.
That's amazing. What do your kids think about your running? Like, are they like excited? Are they proud of their mom? Like, what is that discussion like?
I have an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So the 8 and 4-year-olds, they come along. Well, they used to when we could go out and about. They would come with me. They'd wear my T-shirts. Excited. I think, especially for my older two, because they're females. They see their mom doing something that has not been done before. So that's huge for me to set an example. Hey, look, just because you're a young girl in South Texas does not mean that you cannot, do something big and fight these big fights that you're not expected to fight. So it's awesome.
That's wonderful. What is something that you're looking forward to? Maybe like once, we get COVID under control, like what is something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to shaking things up. I mean, I feel like for so long, we've had this, old establishment and the GOP, but I am so excited to force people to open their eyes, to look forward to modern approaches. You know, it's it's exciting to me that there is a chance and a avenue for us, to really make a change. And as far as in the immediate future, I'm excited for next week because we're doing a district-wide tour where, obviously going to be as safe as can be and follow all the social distancing rules and regulations. But we're going to make it a point to go all over my district and hear the concerns of the people and figure out who needs help and how we can actually help people right now, find a way to assist somebody right this moment. So we'll start that next week. So I'm really excited about that.
That's wonderful. So if folks want to know more about that, can they visit your Facebook page and kind of figure out when you'll be coming to their city?
Yeah, certainly. So we're going to be live streaming. We'll be sending out text. It'll be all over Facebook. So we'll be making quite a racket. So please come make a racket with us because, there's certainly power in numbers. So it should be fun.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Any final words for voters? Like, what do you want folks to know to kind of leave us with for today?
Yeah, I mean, I just want everybody to know, that I'm accessible, right? We have a senator right now that you cannot call, that you cannot text, you cannot message, but I am. So, and I'm open to hearing, any issues or concerns or suggestions. I mean, my really main goal, is to be the best that I can be. So when I win this thing, I can best help my community. But the only way that I can be my best and the only way that I can get better is by people helping me and by people teaching me and educating me and showing me. So I'm extremely open to all of that. So yes, just please reach out. I'd love to talk to you and, help all of our voices be heard.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah. We will comment with all of the information for your upcoming election, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. My pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.